Opinions expressed in this program are those of the program's host and guests, and not necessarily those of WSTU management, staff, or sponsors. WSTU does not endorse any products mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's now time for Leadership in Business, brought to you by John Campion of European Kitchen and Bath and of Crown Car Care. Call in with questions and comments. 220-9788. 220-WSTU. And now, here's your host.
I'll tell you, Greg sounds really good saying my name and stuff. This is John Campion. I am your host.
You're the host with the most.
Oh,
you got
Frank,
all the goodies.
You're so nice. Yeah, don't, now that we can see all this.
Yeah, we'll turn around.
You're going to get popped.
We got Wiley Wallaby, licorice here, Snickers.
These can all be purchased at your local Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
For $1.25.
Well, John and I take turns. We buy goodies for each other.
Yeah, we just don't tell our wives.
No, God, no. Don't tell anybody.
I mean, hey, Wiley Wallaby vegan black licorice ain't nothing like it. You know, 3 of them will just
set you right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then you can eat the other 3 later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Those are when I get in the car.
Yeah.
I always look to see if my teeth have turned black,
But don't let them fall under the seat.
Don't let them fall under the seat because you won't find them and then they're really hard.
But you can probably use them as spacers.
I've wondered about that. Yes, they would make ideal. You could, cut them into thin slices.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be like shims.
Yes, perfect.
Shims for your wheels.
Yeah.
Right, Todd?
Oh, my God.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're doing well out there in Martin County. It sure is nice and warm.
Yeah, a little toasty.
When
the sun comes out. Yes.
I can tell slightly that the crowd has changed out there on the roads and the restaurants. But
yeah, I mean, I love it when we have our seasonal visitors. But I got to tell you, it's kind of nice to get our road back.
Yeah,
it is nice. Yeah,
I got less people honking at me.
Well, you see some of the most amazing things. I mean, people making left turns from the right lane. That's always exciting. That's always fun.
Here's one, Frank. You tell me whether this is legal or not.
Okay.
Can you change lanes in the middle of an intersection?
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Yes.
Jeez, I watched like 3 people do it in the same intersection. While I was there the other day, and I'm going, wait a minute, And so what am I saying in my car? You can't do that. It reminds me of that line that I would say to you, Frank, can I say that?
Can I say that?
Well, you said it. So, but that one really, if you were to ask me what bothers you the worst, it's that. And then, the other thing I can't stand is a tailgate when you're in a 25 mile an hour zone.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you just drive right up in my exhaust pipe for me, please? I need a little bit of packing. Yeah. Not the kind I want, but I just,
Oh, yeah.
But I agree with you that left turn to the right lane, you can get those blinkers mixed up, those turn signals. They might have put them on backwards.
Right. And for some people, the turn signals are optional.
That is true.
I think their car was optional.
No, I have a couple, one of my favorite streets that I come out on. I live in Palm City, so I'm coming over to Stewart, and I come down Old Map Road, right there at the Huizinga thing. You're right there at Old Map Road and 714.
Right.
And you can take a right, but you have to make sure the traffic coming at you from Palm City is not. Well, if you get 2 turn signal people, you can make that turn because that third car can't get to where you are.
Yeah.
But what really gets you is when 2 or 3 people in a row don't use their turn signal. It's like, come on, we live here. Let's help each other out. Can't we all just get along?
Can't we? Oh, God.
I'm mad as I'm not going to
take it anymore.
That's right.
Yes.
So, it's the, and then, the other thing I yelled this yesterday, citizens arrest.
Did you? Hands up.
That was on one of those lane changers. There's a lane changer every day.
Yeah.
And some days.
It was really, and I think it's probably with most vehicles, coincidentally, nothing to do with what's going on in the world, but in Russia, drivers have dash cameras it's just part of their daily protocol, because in some of their videos that ended up, before the war, but there was just so many videos on YouTube with just wacky things that you wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it.
Yeah, there's a show I used to watch that is like,
Oh yeah, unbelievable, or
like,
something
well,
like that.
there's, I don't know, and
Kids say the
they'd
strangest
show
things.
they'd show like a car going over to pass the truck on the right, and they pull out to the right, and there's a car right there, and they hit it, and they're in their motorcycle, and they go flying and flipping, and anyways, there's some cringers out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, hey everybody, please be careful. And I tell a lot of people every day at our business when they leave, I said, just please be careful.
Yes. Take your time. Nothing is worth getting into.
Just watch out.
Oh yeah. There was a guy who was flying down the highway in Colorado going excessive speed, and they have signs for, animal crossings. There's various. So this guy comes flying down the highway doing the same maneuver you're talking about. He passes a car during that passing maneuver, prior to the passing maneuver, he can't see. There was a moose that was in the gully before the road.
Was it a squirrel?
No, a moose. Moose.
Moose and squirrel.
Moose and squirrel. This was moose. So the moose gets onto the road, and the guy hammers the moose.
Oh my God.
And there was dash cam video of this. So the moose, you can actually see the moose flying upside down and through the air. The moose lands, kind of shakes himself off, and kind of trudges off slowly. The car didn't fare so well.
Wow.
But the moose, I
wonder how often that happens and they survive. That is a big animal.
They are big animals, and they can take a licking, apparently.
We got a moose in the back seat, honey.
Oh, jeez.
Couldn't we just get a deer?
But yikes. Yeah. So,
Have you ever hit a deer?
No, but my daughter hit a wild hog on 76, and it just crushed. She was driving a Dodge Stratus, and she went into the stratosphere. But oof, I mean,
hitting a hog.
And it messed up the radiator all the way. The drivetrain, all the transmission got jacked up. It was oof.
I just can't, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, wow, why haven't we hit something yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
you got to watch the wild animals, because they'll cross the road, especially if you're traversing the road late at night.
Well, when you come back from Orlando at night, you can see the little. They're not key deer up here. They're small deer though in Florida, along the turnpike up.
Yeah, they don't grow them like they do in Michigan.
I mean, I think you call them key deer down in the
Keys.
In the Keys,
yeah.
I guess that would be fitting, but. Yeah, these aren't like the big deer like you see up in Michigan.
No,
they get drawn out to the road because they hear
these things are like big dogs.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're weird. And these deer here in Florida, they don't venture very close to the shoulder.
Yeah.
They know where to stay.
Mm-hmm.
They're very smart.
Yeah,
but they're little.
Yes.
So. I've seen them and I go, look at it's very small.
There it goes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now they used to say that those deer were attracted to the deer whistle on the state trooper cars.
They have a deer whistle
on the state trooper cars to scare them
off the road.
But they tend to venture out a little bit too close.
What is that noise?
What is that?
Who's somebody whistling, calling me?
Yeah, right.
It's a deer call.
Yeah, it's it. That's crazy, isn't it?
Whoops.
No, and there are a lot of deer in Michigan. So
yeah,
it's like the state dog.
There's a lot of them.
You bet.
There is a lot. And
where you go to some of those other states, it's elk, it's moose, it's
buffalo.
And what does this have to do with business?
Nothing.
No, it's just, and we started out with changing lanes in the middle of an intersection.
Yes,
don't do it.
Don't do it. That's right.
So, one of the things, Frank, that I've really noticed, and it's been in some articles I've been reading with my CEO group, is how how difficult it is to get people, because people have decided that they're going to just get what they want.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, we kind of know that. I
Yeah.
mean, with the retraction, but you know, now the employee can make demands,
Hmm.
and
Well, because there's more jobs than
well,
there are
there's more
people.
jobs, and there's certainly, and but you know, to find a qualified person
Right.
is not that easy to do.
That's right.
And so a lot of these people who are, you know, looking to get jobs out there, their money is not, people are already paying more than they should. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying, you know, taking care of that minimum wage at the McDonald's or something. I'm talking about other jobs.
Right.
And then what do you do as far as keeping those people there?
Retention. Yeah.
And a lot of that comes down to the culture of your company and how comfortable they feel being there,
Right.
and feel like they're contributing and are part of a team.
Right.
And that was the big retraction in COVID,
Mhm.
was everybody going remote, not having
Right.
the you know, huggy feely
Yeah.
people that you work with, who you rely to talk to.
Water cooler
Yeah,
conversations.
you know,
Yeah. Mhm.
somebody talk to teacher. Will somebody please talk to me about the Detroit Tigers, please?
Somebody.
Mezapel's over there in the corner, just shaking away. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I think about it a lot, and I when I do watch the news, because I still watch the news at night to just see where things are. They,
Mhm.
you know, they're in the same place they've been for a long time, and I don't know what to say other than the fact that, you know, as I look at my companies and knowing that I need to either
You can't just hold status quo. If you stay the same, you start going backwards.
That's I'm a big believer in that.
You have to keep pressing ahead.
You have to keep reinventing yourself. I've said that for years. I've
Yes.
said that the last few years. I'd said that before COVID.
Mhm.
Really important.
Dick used to say that. He did.
Did he?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I believe that. And Dick is my dad.
Yes.
He's also the grandpa, and the my son accused me of telling Dick
Mhm.
jokes a couple of weeks ago, and
Yeah.
he clarified that.
Yes,
of course,
of
it was
course.
grandpa. But
Right. Yes.
well, and
Yeah.
there's a lot to that.
Right. He was pretty astute, and he understood that.
Well, he
Yeah.
did. He
Mhm.
did. You know, it was funny this morning. I was getting dressed, and I said, "Dad, can't you just kind of show up for a couple hours today?"
Wouldn't that be nice?
Man,
Spell me for a bit. Yeah.
would you just come in here and kick
Yeah.
my butt a little bit and
Yeah.
tell me where I steered wrong,
Yeah.
or let me know I steered right, or
Yeah.
you know, go and say, you know, we never had this stuff happen when we were in business, but
Yeah.
you know, it's
a new kettle of fish out there.
wow,
That's for sure.
it's totally different.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all got to do the best we can, and look out for each other, and of course, you know, go out there and get a job and do the best you can for
Right.
whoever you work for, because that's all you should do. Be that person of excellence that you know you can be.
Well, I know the fact that you and other business owners in your CEO group that you visit with are always looking at what can we do with retention, and what benefits can we offer? Is it medical insurance? Is it something else? Or is it some other spiffs, or you know, something? You know, for me, my shop. You know, I was talking to somebody who owns a body shop, and he was telling me that, you know, they only work on a 12% margin when it's all done. That's it.
It's a lot of work for 12%.
Yeah. Well, and he says to me, he says, "Can you believe that?" I go, "Yeah." I said, "You know, the paint industry, we worked from 7 to 9%. And that was back in the day, you know."
Wow.
Yeah. Tough. And, you know, and so, yeah, tight
Well,
margins.
You had to be on that.
Yeah. You couldn't let any jobs go by. You had to make sure you had to make everything right all the time.
And you didn't want to sell cheap paint to get your margins up, because that would come back and haunt you, maybe.
But the cheap paint is actually so to digress a little bit, cheap paint is actually more expensive to the customer, because you need to buy more of it.
Okay.
And it doesn't last as long.
Right.
So you have to buy it again. So yeah, and the most expensive element in the paint, area is the labor. So whether you're using a cheap product or a value product, right? Your labor is the same.
Yeah, because if it's good, it probably goes on nice.
You're going to use less product,
right?
And it's less labor for the painter,
right?
And you're going to get better results, last longer. It's actually a cheaper job, but that is the hardest sell you can possibly make as a business owner. But that's the truth, And people will say, well, and it's my father-in-law who used to say, and people never have enough time to do it right, but always enough time to do it again.
There you go.
Right. And I think that is
what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to be said about that. That's great. From the mouth of a successful, there's somebody, who was, much older than us, but it's all relevant to what's going on.
Right. Doesn't matter. You're,
I'm sorry. One of the things I was just thinking of here while you were talking about the paint was, do you get an idea of all the tasks that we have, a homeowner has to take care of his home? Painting would be like number one thing that they can do, because you might not be good with a saw or a hammer,
right?
Or is that, do you have an idea what?
Oh yeah, DIY. Yeah, probably is pretty high percentage, especially when they start looking at what painters are charging. But licensed painters, they have unemployment insurance and they have workman's comp, and so it drives the cost. And if they're working on ladders, and then if you're on a ladder that's more than whatever the magic number is, I think 20 feet or something, then that's like a whole nother protocol for
another factor of
and so I would always, I did a lot of my own work when I owned the property next door, right, but I knew there was some work that was just beyond the scope of what I can do.
There's some things over there I want to be,
and I was happy to hire it out. And I used contractors that I worked with. I sold products to, so, okay, I have a good relationship with you. I'm happy to pay you to do some of this work that I'm not comfortable doing. Right. And so you got to know your limits. And, but yeah, a lot of stuff I would do.
Well, and you also weren't going out and hanging out in the bar till 12.
No, didn't spend all those guys. Didn't spend too much time doing that.
Kind of drying out on the ladder.
Right. Whoosh.
Well, I mean, and then, my wife and I were having a discussion on paint the other day, and I didn't want to sound like I was the authority, but only because I've been sitting around some of my friends who, like yourself, who are painters, Peter, and, talking about, well, yeah, we were talking about one of the brands like Valspar, which is what is owned by Home Depot, I think, or Lowe's.
Well, I don't know.
Somebody
I don't know if that's wholly owned anymore. I don't know who. So when I was growing up, there were over 200 domestic manufacturers.
You haven't grown up.
Yeah, no. When I was just a kid, a youngin', so only 200 domestic manufacturers. It was quite a few, right?
Well, okay. Now
you can count them on one hand.
That is because they all own each other or something like that, right?
Yeah, right.
It's consolidated industry like everything else.
Yes. And a lot of it had to do with government regulation, government telling paint manufacturers, these are the ingredients you can use, these ingredients you can't use. Well, if you're just an ingredient supplier, whoa, game over.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's like DuPont used to provide a lot of the latex, a lot of the acrylic resin and PPG, they would supply a lot of the pigments. So the manufacturers realized early on in the game that they could kind of cross-pollinate, help each other out that way with raw materials, but which was okay,
right.
And but what it ended up doing is starting to standardize a lot of things
too. That, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think in my lifetime. I mean, when I was younger, obviously moving around, I remember my first house I bought in Charlotte. for $1,500.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a VHDA loan.
Wow.
Well, I can buy that house for $1,500. It's a fine home right there on the Duke power lines. I can feel myself. But no, but
don't need an antenna for your TV or nothing.
That's what happened to me.
Didn't need to plug your TV in.
No, I just hold it in my braces. But serious. But I did a lot of painting in my first few homes, and then then it was something I didn't do.
Right.
And had somebody else do it.
Right.
And so I lost the. But there are, I was just talking to somebody this weekend. They were saying, "Well, I'm painting my house. What, inside? Yeah, inside." And I said, "Oh, okay,
sure.
It's pretty hot outside."
Well, yeah.
And then, and I, I'm a terrible painter. That's probably one reason why I didn't want to paint.
You hung up your brush.
I got more on me
roller.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta,
some for you, some for me.
I'm bad. I was bad. You'd start out going, okay, I'm not going to be a mess. And then, 2 hours later, I looked like I'd been rolling through the can.
Oh, the heck with it.
Stepped in it,
Yeah.
So anyways, but, so that is, that what I would think would be maybe one of the first industries that was ever so much consolidated. Maybe not. I mean,
well, I saw it starting, in the 70s, 80s. Okay. It really goes back to World War II. The paint industry was using white lead for their white pigment for exterior paints.
Lead paint.
And the government needed lead for what they call war materials, bullets. Okay. So they suggested, one of the government chemists said, why don't you just substitute TiO2, titanium dioxide? It's a beautiful white powder. It starts out as a rock. They grind it up. It turns into a beautiful white powder. And it turns out to be the whitest thing you can, and it's just rock. So it's great, right? So the paint industry looked at that, and it took a little while to kind of transition into it, to figure out the formulation, but they did it, right?
Wow.
And so the government got pretty full of themselves, and because it was a win, right? They took the lead out of house paints, and so from the 60s on, paint didn't contain lead. Even though exterior paint existed, it was oil base, but there was no lead in it. But anyways, so the government got to thinking, well, we're pretty good at this stuff. And then they said, well, you should do this, you should do that. And all those things add another complication, another layer of government, another layer of cost that the consumer ends up paying for, right? I mean, paint used to be just
wasn't that bad.
No. And in the 60s, I mean, our top flight interior flat latex was $6.95 a gallon for, right? And then the really washable flat latex was $7.55.
Yeah, I remember always making sure
right.
Did you get the latex? Because you can wash that out.
Right. Well, yeah. Anyways, but so that was the and then things just now you can't buy a quart of paint for that. A quart of paint costs you over $20. It seems like, it's just nuts, and it's basically, I think some of it's government overreach.
So all those dried up paint cans in my garage from my house that's 18 years old.
Well, if it's dried up, then
I think it is.
Okay. Well,
if
you'd be surprised. Some of that stuff they used a lot of preservatives to keep it, mildicides, fungicides, which ends up being product preservatives. Some of them, the really old, were mercurial based.
Okay.
Anyways, those actually last a long time.
Yes, doctor. Yes, those mercurial. Okay, I put that on my cuts.
Yeah, mercurochrome, right?
That's right.
Also known as mercury. But it's mercury is a good preservative.
My dad swore about that stuff,
and it keeps mildew away. But
they
don't use that anymore.
Put that mercurochrome on there, son.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's amazing stuff. And so some of the old stuff actually will last longer than. But the new stuff probably a year or two. That's about a year or two optimum life. That's it.
Okay. All right. Well,
so the best way to dispose of it, because you have to dispose of it, you can't dispose of it as a liquid, right? So there's a couple ways. If you got like an old shower curtain, you lay it out on your driveway.
Yeah.
Pour the paint onto the shower curtain.
Yeah.
Right. Let it dry up. Now you can roll it up and throw it away as solid waste.
You can do that.
Sure. It's just solid waste. It's at that point, it's just pigment and dried up vehicle. So
people go, that guy has a kitchen and bath store. I think he's got a big shower curtain full of solid waste over there.
But that's
wow.
Or I mean, ideally,
because if it was liquid, you can't.
Then you have to take it to a special collection center.
Yeah.
But they're perfectly happy to take it as dry. It's not hazardous at all. It's the liquid chemicals that are bad.
Hey, so that makes me go to some other question. Ask Frank. You are not supposed to throw fluorescent light bulbs away in the trash.
That's correct. You are not supposed to.
And why are you not supposed to?
Mercury.
Because of the mercury?
Mercury in the fluorescent.
So how are you supposed to dispose of those?
You have to take it to the hazardous disposal.
Yeah, because I always see those sticking out of my neighbor's garbage cans, and I want to pull them out and stick them, go up there and
where the sun doesn't shine.
Yeah. Do you not know? Do you change lanes?
Do you talk to Frank? Talk to Frank.
You change lanes in the middle of the intersection. I knew it was you. Are we going to take a break?
Let's do that. And then when we come back, we've got more to cover, right?
Of course.
All right.
I've got so much in here.
We'll talk a little bit about government overreach because we kind of touched on
that. That was a good thing you came across. I want to definitely play that.
Okay. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
But you know, I've been protesting the growth of government for a number of years.
I've had a concern lest the permanent structure of government becomes so big that it would become beyond the control of Congress and beyond the will of the people. And I have believed that this is a problem that crosses party lines. I've seen an interesting development down through the years. When I first suggested the danger of government control inherent in so many federal handouts, there were people who denied vehemently that any such thing could ever take place. And yet, before too long, the same people were saying, what's wrong with government control? And in the recent days, we've heard representatives in the higher echelons of government ask us, well, are you afraid of your own government? Well, to tell you the truth, I am.
There you go. That was Ronald Reagan from, you ready for this? 1965. It's called The Myth of the Great Society, is the title of that speech.
And he hit the nail right on the head, man.
Wow. In 1965, fast forward to today, nothing has changed except for the thing that he's afraid of most seems to be ever closer.
Yeah, it seems to be the thing that we're afraid of most. Yeah.
We seem to be almost there.
No, it's that's true. We were watching a movie the other night. I'll think of it in a minute, but it was way back, and the things that they talked about, it was stuff that was just amazing. That fast forward from, this was like 1940s or 20s, 30s or something, to what's going on now, and nothing's changed.
No.
And and we're such a young country.
Yeah.
And that's the danger. That's the danger part, I know what it was. The Romans, how long were they around? Well, they were like, everybody thought that they had it. Oh, here comes one of our authoritarian top guys.
Yes.
Could it be who?
Well, we got a caller on our newsmaker line. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, Frank. Hello, John.
Hey,
your buddy
Charlie.
How you doing?
How you feeling?
Ronald Reagan also said the scariest words he ever heard were,
Yes.
I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Exactly right. That's one of my favorite quotable lines. Yes.
Yep.
He and Yogi Berra, huh?
Yeah.
So Frank goes, I'm looking for a young person who wants to fill in for Biden.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Anybody.
Except for Kamala. She's out of the,
Yeah.
I want a young person, middle schooler would do.
Charlie.
They've
got a few politicians up there at Hidden Oaks.
Common sense,
Yeah.
Common sense is in short supply.
It is. It really
with
is.
that particular party.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to talk too much politics, but we just
we're not going to talk politics, but I'm enjoying your show.
Thanks, buddy.
And the bottom line is, I've always said this. My father said, why don't you do it yourself? And I said, Dad, when I want something done right, I hire a person that really knows what they're doing.
Right.
Because I know how to bend a nail.
I know how to bend a nail.
I'm really good.
I'm a professional.
I don't have the patience. I used to have patience.
Yeah.
Went out with the dogs.
Hey, Charlie, I got a question for you. How are your eyes doing?
Frank called me and asked me too.
Oh, okay.
I
should have known.
Anyway, I can see it's brighter. I still can't really read anything. I go back to the eye doctor on Friday. Maybe I need to get zapped again. I don't know. I still have the floaters.
Okay.
Yep. That's what happens. I had permanent lenses in my eyes. So it wasn't LASIK. It was laser. Cold laser.
Yeah.
And how long did that whole surgery take?
It was rather quick. I had both eyes done. Dr. Allen and Florida Vision Center. I've seen him before. He put the lenses in. He's a Duke graduate, so I know he's got a good education. Okay.
Was he paying
I don't
attention?
know if he cheated. I don't think he did.
Okay.
He's got lots of paper on the walls.
Nice.
And matter of fact, I've met people that have said the same person. So he gets around.
Yeah. Good
Well, there's
deal.
only one person who does it in the whole world. It's him.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's around. Isn't that great?
And you got him.
Man.
All right,
That's
well,
great.
go team. Go team, and
Go
I'll get off the phone and listen to your
Nice to
sparkling
hear.
words.
Nice to hear
And
from
I
you.
think the show should be called John and Frank's Words of Wit. Words and Nuggets of Wisdom.
We're getting ready to change it to that. I
Yeah.
can tell
You
you.
know, 'cause Frank knows so much about everything.
He does.
doesn't he?
He's like Cliff Clavin on steroids.
You know what,
Cliffy.
Frank? You're not doing anything for the next couple of years.
Right.
We don't need a kid. We'll just put you in charge.
There you go.
That's
Hey,
right.
John, let's do it, huh?
He's a kid in,
I'll get the
in
Navy
kids'
to change
clothes.
the paint
Yeah,
that they're
he's not
using.
that tall. So we'll
No,
dress
he's
him in
not.
young people's garb. You know,
He would-
I know Frank could do a better job. All right, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Adios and
Take care.
cuidado.
All right.
All right,
Adios. All right. Bye. That's great. Thanks for calling. That was marvelous. It's always good to hear from Charlie.
Oh yeah, keeping people straight over there in
Yes.
Old Palm City.
Mm-hmm.
You bet. On Old American Boulevard
Yeah.
or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, I have one other statement. I might have said this already. I remember I'm not bragging because I was probably the worst president they ever had, but when I was president of the Palm City Chamber of Commerce
Nice.
in this century,
Yes.
uh
It was about 4 years ago, right?
it might have been.
Yeah.
Could have been. Feels longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had some good people succeed me who actually, were interested in doing some work. I do. I love the people in Palm City. I like the people in the Palm City Chamber, just everything. But what was really cool was having moved down here, knowing that the controversy was going on with the Veterans Memorial Bridge
Oh, yeah.
for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember when it was getting near to be done.
Right.
Of course, this is a little political, but
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn Davy, who was the executive director for 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
I still to this day call it the Carolyn Davy Bridge because
Yeah.
she
Push that over
really
the finish
pushed
line.
it, and but I remember predicting to somebody when it was right near about getting ready to open, I said, there will be days when that bridge is backed up from Canner up the bridge. And it is.
Yeah.
And then when we're going over the bridge, going home at night, I am convinced, and if you're listening to me, I apologize, any of you folks that live in Port St. Lucie, but I swear it's you guys who are speeding your butt off on that road.
It could be.
Really,
Yeah.
it's like they want to get home, and
On
they
the way to Becker Road.
Yeah, well, they want to go do that, and I gotta say, it would drive me nuts too if I had to get through that stuff at Citrus over the turnpike and all that. I was thinking the other day, I was coming back from Vero about 5:30, and I go, oh wait, I can go one more exit to High Meadow Avenue, and
Yes.
I get off and I have nobody, and I can go right in my neighborhood because I live in Hammock Creek.
Right.
It's
Right.
like my private exit.
Yes.
The only
It really, truly is.
It is.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever had somebody in front of me getting off on that exit,
Mhm.
it's the last.
Was your
second-
neighbor?
No, there was a trailer in front of me from North Carolina,
Okay.
and it was a fifth wheel,
Oh my God.
and it turns out it was like going like 1 mile an hour on the curve, and I'm going, what is going on? This guy, he's obviously lost. He
Yeah.
has no idea. It's a very confusing area.
Of course.
So anyways, he pulls over at the bottom, and I kind of whip over into the grass and pull over and up, and I go, you okay? He goes, I ran out of gas. And I go, well, you're in luck, pal, because I just live right down there. And if you want to ride with me or you stay here with you, he rode with me, went down, gave him all the old gas out of my gas can.
Yeah.
His truck started up,
Nice.
and they went on their way. They were on like 2-week vacation. So
Nice.
anyways, that's the quickest. That was quicker than Todd
Yeah.
Harris stopping to fill
Yeah.
my Chevy up with gas when I ran out downtown one day.
Fortunately, it was before the prices went crazy.
Well, that's true.
Yes.
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
you can only afford a gallon.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's done a call in yet to find out what is the most money you've put in your tank since the rising price of gas.
I had a lady actually tell me I was over at BJ's, which is got to be one of the least
Cheapest.
expensive. Yeah, one of the least expensive places you can go. And she turned after she was in the
What
pump
was she
ahead of
filling
me.
up?
It was a car like yours,
SUV.
Mhm. And
Hybrid, of course.
Yeah, of course. She
In
turned around.
Dubai.
She goes, I just killed $100. And I go, yeah.
I stopped the other day at 90 and I still wasn't done. It only needed one more gallon to get to 100.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Oof.
yeah, that'll get you. And then, you know, my classic car, my 66 Chevy.
Yeah. And of course that takes premium.
Yeah. And when the last time I filled it up, it was $4.45 and now it's $4.99. So,
Yikes.
you know, it's just money.
All right. We got a caller coming in.
Really?
We got to go to break.
Okay.
Okay. You're on our newsmaker line. Go ahead.
Well, this is your buddy again.
Yeah.
I don't use a gas vehicle, but I have diesels.
So
I
diesel is
paid
expensive.
$5.70 a gallon
Yeah.
per gallon.
That's
Thank you,
amazing.
Mr. Biden.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care, guys.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
That's after he got done throwing up in the bathroom.
Oh my God.
That's
Okay.
true. Yeah.
We got Rocky and Bullwinkle going to take us to commercial.
Okay.
And now,
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
again,
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
And we are back
Yes.
for Leadership in Business.
Yes.
Or as Palm City Charlie calls it the Frank and John show.
The John and Frank show, because we don't want to say Frankie and Johnny. That's already been used.
Well, it has.
Yes,
You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I get a little slow. I'm tired today, man.
Well, you're busy selling all those things.
I didn't sell anything today. I had to deliver some stuff that
Oh,
was sold, but
Yeah, well, that's work.
that was work.
Yes.
Yeah, had to stay awake driving down the turnpike at 85 miles an hour. Oh,
Quiet.
oh yeah, that's right. Hi, I'm Frank Mesbel. I live at. Yeah. No, it was. Boy, we are lucky we don't live down there.
No, I know.
Especially now.
So my wife's a big
Shopper.
big fan. Yes, she's a big fan of a Asian food restaurant thing called Hot Pot.
Okay.
And she found out through one of her girlfriends there was a hot pot and Korean barbecue in Boca Raton.
So is that a type of way to cook, but it's called hot pot?
Yes.
Okay.
And what it is basically you sit at a table and there is these burners in front of you and they put a pot on top of it with a broth in there. And it's all you can eat, and you pick out what you want out of their menu, and they bring you pork, beef, whatever, and then all these vegetables, and then you just throw them in this pot, and then you fish it out with your chopsticks, and
Unsafe.
Oh, it's and then you can actually
They
drink the soup.
They
when you're
give you
done.
lead aprons to wear in case you drop a spot. No, it kind of reminds me of
Pretty
the
good, yeah.
of the fondue places.
Kind of like fondue without
Yeah,
cheese. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
But it's healthy.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. You load up all the
What kind
vegetables.
of oil is a special oil that they use, or is it not?
No oil. It's just
That's
there's just it's a
hot.
broth. It's a
it's
a soup based
it's
broth.
based on the type of protein you have ordered.
Yeah, you can.
Not
Yes,
that you got.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I sound.
you guys. Use guys.
I think my dad just hit me across the back of the head.
Use guys.
Where'd you learn to talk like that? Chicago, Dad. Or were we in New York?
I love it.
Oh gosh.
So
Yeah. So what was this, down in Lauderdale or somewhere?
it was Boca Raton.
Boca.
It
Okay.
was- might as well say almost Lauderdale.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it was. Is it
So
a
is it-
small?
It was in a shopping center. It was
Yeah,
a nice place, and really beautiful location. And my wife we're looking out the windows, and it's this looks like an apartment building from the backside, like condo thing. Everybody has the same porch, and so we're looking, and she's, we should find out, we should live here. She's like, I said, why is that? She's, well, we just have to walk downstairs to go
to go eat.
to eat. And I says, yeah, that's true. I says, but honey, I says, you see those three patios all end to end? And she goes, yeah. I says, they all have exactly the same chair in the same position. I said, it's either a condo or likely it's an apartment, or it's something else, but it's not something you can just buy. And it turns out it was a Holiday Inn.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So they got the same furniture.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they're staging it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So funny.
That's great. Well, we
So
got out of that one.
I got out of that one. I was very lucky.
Yeah. Tiffany and Boca.
Wow.
Yeah.
She goes, I says, Boca, you know what Boca means in English? Boca Raton is mouth of the rat. So who wants to live in mouth of the rat?
No.
I'm
I thought
sorry.
it meant big rat.
No.
Mouth of the rat.
Mm.
Okay.
And I guess they're looking at the coastline.
Okay.
Spanish person probably thought it resembled that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Wow. So how we don't talk about our wives enough, but
No.
we shouldn't, because we have to be able to
But
live
this
when we
could
leave
come
here
back
and get
to us
home.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife will say, "How's the radio show?" I said, "Oh,
good,
did you
good.
enjoy listening to it?" "Oh, I didn't listen to it."
Oh, good.
"Oh,
It
all
was-
right.
it
It
was
was
great."
great. Yeah, that's right. Frank did a great job.
Yeah,
Marvelous
yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. No, it's no, we have a lot of fun in here. I don't know.
Well, we want to leave you with some things to think about, right?
Absolutely.
And one of the things we wanted to leave them with is how to get in touch with you.
Well, with me, you can get in touch with me, but I'll pan you off on someone. But in all seriousness, I am the historian of our company, by the way. I meant to mention that earlier. We were talking about how do you remember things. And, I have this new guy who works for me, Carlos, and he came in. John, he's Cuban. He's a great guy. He says, I'm not Cuban, I'm Mexican. I said, right. Anyways, he'll show me somebody came in and needed a part for something. He goes, are you familiar? This is an old one from so-and-so manufacturer. And I'll go, oh yeah, that's a model number. He goes, you are the smartest man I know. You remember everything. I said, no, I just get lucky on these.
Hey, when you have to know, you know, you end up knowing. Yeah.
He says, don't be too loud. The guy's right outside the door. But no, the number over at the European Kitchen and Bath, 221-3990, 221-3990. And by the way, I promise I will get the marquee changed tomorrow. It's been the same for 3 weeks.
Okay.
That's like
get a refresh.
It's like a bad rerun because it's nothing. It's not a stupid saying. Or silly, I should say.
There you go.
Yeah, but I appreciate everybody listening this week. Frank, thanks for being there and supporting the cause.
Yes.
And also supporting my waistline.
All the goodies.
Oh, yes, these wafers are wafer thin. They'll be good. Appreciate it. And everybody out there, be safe. Have a safe Memorial Day weekend. Okay? Yes. God bless you.
Take care. We'll see you next week.
All right.